Bon dia, bon dia. Happy Saturday. I hope you had a good week. I hope it was a productive one, whatever that means to you. We'll be speaking in English today to accommodate some of our guests. So I hope that's not a problem for you. Definitely not a problem for us. But yes, so we will have 3 guests. I'll let them introduce themselves in a little bit. And we will be talking about ArtWeek. And I'm excited because, as you know, we have been talking about the Aruban art scene for a little bit now. So we will be talking a little bit more about that. But before I continue, I just want to say thank you to my awesome sponsors for allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Today it's art. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you to La Roche-Posay, to Gain, and to Total. You guys are awesome. And of course to Cool FM. And this episode today is also powered by ArtisA. And, you know, they'll talk a little bit about that as well. So without further ado, I hope that you have been in tune with the Olympics. I want to say once again, congratulations to Ethan and of course all of our Aruban athletes. But it was very historic, and I have been watching, or like kind of in the background if my boss is listening. It's on my screen, but she knows. But I have been very in tune. I love seeing everything that has to do with people doing what they love and then being on the biggest platform. So yay, hooray to them. And I would love to talk to them once they get back to Aruba. So I will be reaching out to you, Camila, if you're listening, because I want to talk to your athletes. Yes, so we have 3 guests today, and some of you may know 1 or 2, or maybe all of them. I'm really excited to be talking to people I don't know yet. I love that. So I will let them introduce themselves. So we will start with whoever wants to go first. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Who wants to tell us who they are and why they're here today?
Okay.
Ladies first always.
Okay, hi everyone. It's so great to be here. I live in Aruba now 2 years. My name is Jean Cherouny.
Okay.
So I've been involved with the art fair now for 2 art fairs, coming up on my 3rd, which I'm really excited about. And I'm also an artist, and my art background is in art education. So I have a real passion for art in society. I really want to educate people that art should be a part of their lives. And so that comes from years of teaching, but I also love to teach about my own art and make my own art, which is rollerblade art. And it's a little different because it offers some different perspectives on ways in which you can make abstract art. So I use my body and my feet rolling in the paint and make large canvases, but I also like to make smaller canvases that have a lot of gestural movements in them, using a lot of color. And so I speak to you a little bit about some of the joys in which I've come to become a temporary resident here, and an immersion of art and being a part of an artist community here in Aruba.
So I just want to say that when Ariana reached out and she's like, okay, so I think these are the people who are going to come and talk to you. And she mentioned a rollerblade artist. I was like, I need more context for this, but I also did not want to ask her. So I went on the internet and I'm like, what would this mean? And then I realized that it's really using your body, right? So I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about how you got into that.
Sure.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I don't know, Elisa, do you want to go next and tell us who you are, why you're here today?
Hi, my name is Elisa Lejuez. I'm an artist, fashion designer, and a teacher. I live in Aruba for 25 years now. Since 15 years I'm doing workshops with local groups and also with tourists. I have a special agreement with the Bikuti and Tara Beach Hotel.
Oh, fun.
And as fashion designer, I print my paintings on fabric, and I also design silk scarves.
Ooh, so I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I just want to immediately give a shout out to Daryl, who is listening or probably will be listening. And he's one of your students. And Daryl.
Oh, Daryl!
Yes. So he also sent me some questions for you, and I thought they were great questions. And I'm not usually the kind of person that prepares questions, so I do like to get questions from listeners because then I also know what they wanna, what do you want to know? I always tell them that. So I will let you know what he's asking.
Okay.
So Tito, I don't think you are necessarily new for the Aruban public, but can you tell us who you are and why you're here today?
So my name is Tito Bolivar. I'm a social entrepreneur, gallerist, organizer of ArtWeek, and a huge art fanatic. But I can't draw for crap, but I love art a lot. So I'm the mover and shaker behind all these beautiful people that I'm trying to grow art. We have 2 social galleries in St. Nicholas, yes, and we've been working since 2016 in St. Nicholas, trying to revitalize it through art. Yes, because we all know that St. Nicholas used to be like the most important place on Aruba. Then it just disappeared. And now people are going to St. Nicholas to have fun, take pictures, buy art. So it's very cool to be part of that.
Okay, thank you for that. So one of the things that I love doing here is that I get to talk to a lot of interesting people doing interesting work, but I also like for you to explain what that work really means. So Tito, you mentioned you're a gallerist, and for the people in the art scene, they might know what that is, but can you explain to us a little bit about what that means and what that means in the Aruban context?
Okay, so it's very simple. I'm a social gallerist, makes it more complicated. Yes, I host different artists and crafters. We're like a store. Yeah, we're a store that focuses in arts and crafts in Aruba.
Okay.
Yes, but a gallery is more involved with only artists. Yes, and we try to sell their art. We try to educate the island and also the visitors into our local artists, and we try to export these art. Yeah, and also we try to evolve the artists themselves by pushing them to the next level. Yes, by telling them it's okay to host a solo expo. It's okay to keep pushing, and one day get back out of here. Yes, but only through a gallery you can go join other art fairs. I'm an art fair organizer, but I'm a nobody if I don't have a gallery. So that's why we started a gallery back in 2020 during COVID. Yes, with the idea that one day we can start representing our own outside of the island. Okay. Yes, and in 2023 we started with Space21.art, and that serves like a replacement for Cosecha. Yeah, Cosecha was the arts and crafts store on the island. Yes, they had about 4 facilities on the island, or 3. They were going to the 4th, but due to COVID they closed. We just opened ArtisA up, which is for the galleries, for the artists themselves. But because of no other place for the crafters to sell, in 2023 we opened up Space21.art that gives more locals the chance to express themselves creatively. And nowadays we represent about 40 to 50 crafters and artists on the island.
Okay, that's very interesting. And I am gonna go right ahead and ask some questions, and then we'll talk a little bit about ArtWeek as well. But Tito, while you're mentioning, you have like 40 to 50 artists, how? And I mean, I'm sure there's a process, and if you want to tell us a little bit about that, how do you pick what art or which artists get involved with your gallery? And I was just talking to all of you right before we started that I am by no means somebody in the art bubble, but I did intern in museums, which usually has art pieces, and usually has to do with whatever message you're trying to convey as a place, what you're focused on, if it's state funded, if it's private, etc. So my question to you is, what has been your goal with the artists that you have, and how do you get to choose, which ones form part of that, or is it like an evolving thing? I don't know. Tell us.
Okay, so first it was a disaster because I'm in St. Nicholas. Nobody wants to go to St. Nicholas.
Okay.
So the first artist I got was Elvis Trump. Yes, and I did my first solo expo. We sold tons of art, and when we sold that tons of art, artists like, hey, hey, there's something going on here. They're selling art in St. Nicholas. So then different artists started approaching me, and also started approaching different artists that are already known, such as Elisa as well, and Cherouny. Yes, and slowly but surely people started coming. I had to sometimes pre-buy art, yeah, so I can exhibit it and sell it back again. But then slowly but surely, as sales started to going, more and more trust started to coming into this side of the island. It became a little bit hectic because everybody wants to sell. Yeah, so we started getting everybody just trying to come in and sell their art, but it doesn't work like that. So what we did was we last year unofficially, but this year officially, ArtWeek created a club. Yeah, and the club is called Art Fair. Yeah, so if you participate in Art Fair, it is the only way that you can sell arts and craft in our galleries. That also that's how we select the artist. Yes, because you already have to go to a process that has curators involved, organizers involved, a lot of people involved. So we know already we're selling quality. It does not mean that they have to be established artists. We want emerging artists. We want people that are in the unknown, because that's what we're known for in the art fair, because we give everybody a chance. Yes, and then we filter out. You can go to ArtisA, or you can go to Space 21, or some of your works is good for Space 21, some of your work is good for ArtisA. Yes, because ArtisA has another type of clientele, another type of profile, and Space 21 another one. It's more fun, more hip, easy prices, just come in and buy something. ArtisA is more serious work, more higher prices, so we're not always selling in there, but that's okay because we're not here to sell. Yeah, we're here to give opportunities, which is a different mentality, if I explain myself correctly.
Well, I think it does give a little context, right? Because there is a lot that is considered art, and I think that when we talk about art in general, everybody who identifies as an artist will think about themselves, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they will fit every event or every space. And I do think that giving that kind of clarity and explaining, what this particular movement or what your galleries are trying to do is important, so that people understand what they can expect when they go to the events, but also as they reach out to you as artists. And I do want to hear from your advocate artists, right? How did you get involved, and what have you seen in, you mentioned, Jean, it's going to be your third art fair, right? What have you seen in those years? Has that idea of, when you started, maybe of what you wanted to showcase or what the group wanted to showcase, has it changed? Do you feel like the art scene in Aruba has changed? And of course, Elisa, you have been in Aruba for 25 years, so I'm sure you have some perspective on that as an artist, but also as a teacher. What are things that you have noticed from this movement that might be different from what you expected or you see back home?
Sure. Yeah, I think that that more and more tourists who come to the island see opportunities like Elisa and myself, showing here as an American, and they look at that with a real interest. They're hands down in love with Aruba to begin with, but when they begin to see that there's a real effort to organize and to share that with the people visiting the island, they become almost like real patrons. And I think that's incredibly important to get that message out, that when you come to Aruba, there are things on the internet that you can research ahead of time, and we are starting to become much more well known on the internet. We do appreciate TripAdvisor and leaving reviews, and that also helps stir the knowledge about us, but we do need a critical path and a critical mass of people, and we certainly do need more people coming to San Nicolas. The murals are a huge,
attraction, really. Yes.
They sustain us in terms of the amount of people who do come to San Nicolas, and I think that because the tours are starting to draw more people and more reviews happen, there is definitely, better sales. And sales are not everything, but they are important because they tell us that we are interesting and we have a unique perspective that people are not quite seeing anywhere else in the world. So I do think that change does occur over time, and it does happen slowly. But if everybody helps and pitches in, I always, whenever I sell a work of art or something at the gallery and sell one of my own works, I'm always like, please spread the word. Tell about us on Facebook, write a review, share something about your experience, because that's an important part of our story. And so I do think it is changing, but I credit Tito for the perseverance that it takes to do something like this, because it does take a long while to establish yourself and get as many different people talking about it so that it reaches a critical path and people think about coming to Aruba to buy art and to be a part of art.
And to go to San Nicolas.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are new murals every year, which is so exciting, because then it starts to be like, okay, that critical path starts to really become formed, where people are like, oh, it's easy. I love Aruba. I love everything about Aruba. Everything's great about Aruba. Let's come back during the art fair. And that's really what we pitch. That's what we pitch. We say, hey, you really should book a vacation. It helps everybody out. It helps San Nicolas real estate. It helps, it helps the businesses in San Nicolas as well. So, yeah.
And, we do have a lot of repeat visitors. So I do think that it is something that already exists. Absolutely. And that we can build on as an island, right? And this is a way of doing that. So I love that. Elisa, what have you seen in your years here in regards to the art scene and also organizing the art scene, right?
Yeah, I saw a lot of changes.
Okay.
First time when I came to Aruba, it was in the 90s, and I already saw that banks and big companies and you name it, there was not really an arts collection in banks. We had some realistic knuckle houses, and that was it. So I said, what happened? What happened about, is there no modern art scene in Aruba? And then little by little, I saw it changing. And then Rembe Cherouny started Access Art. It was in 2001, I think. And I had a big exhibition with his opening.
Okay.
And from that moment, the Aruba art scene changed.
Okay.
I think that that was a very important thing that happened to Aruba. He invited a lot of banks came, hotels came, shops came, and we as artists were always hanging out there drinking wine. It was very nice.
But that's nice to hear.
Yeah, and then Tito started, of course, in right before COVID. When did
2016,
you start? 2016 already. Yeah.
And you were there the first year already.
Yes. So that's how you as an artist, you have to join every new opportunity, I think. And I was there the first year with Tito already, and I'm here again.
So all of you are obviously in the art bubble, right? As artists and as a gallerist. But, here today we're talking to whomever is listening, and they might not necessarily be art people or people who, beyond maybe an art event that is accessible to the public, be necessarily interested or involved in art. But what I hear from all of you is that we are looking to find ways to have more support and commitment, I guess, to the art scene of Aruba. So, it might be a big question, but if you think about ways that could be done and why people should care about, art in Aruba, what comes to your mind? And feel free to chime in.
So for me, as a non-artist, yes, it's beautiful to see how these artists create. But as a gallerist and organizer of many things, and I've been into some art workshops as well, or when I was creating the 50 steps of Rogers Beach, I ended up cutting tiles myself. Yes, because sometimes you need to lead by example. And I realized how important doing art is, not as a professional artist, but as a human being. How relaxing it is, how all the stress comes out. A lot of people use this for the mental health as well. Like even the Prime Minister takes lessons by us, and this is not political. It's just looking at a very high stressed job that you have, which is being the Prime Minister of Aruba, and you're using art to de-stress yourself. Yes, and that's a very, very good example of why art is important. Secondly, is also the reflection of your society. Yes, artists, that's why also in our Art Week, we started with thematic themes to push these artists to start talking.
Okay.
Yes, because the artist is actually a reflection of your society. How cool is that? They will tell you where you're at. So it's like back in the days, I would tell you only two people would tell you the truth. It's either the kids or the drunken ones. But now I realize that art can also tell you the truth. Yes, because when these artists go and you give them a topic, they will go dig deep and come back with an answer, and that answer is not their regular paintings. Yes, like Elisa, I just did a site visit at her house. Yes, we went to see her atelier. Look what she's working for the art fair this year, and I was like, wow, okay, this is so awesome. Yes, it's not that she doesn't make beautiful art already. Yes, but this is just a whole different expression. Why? Because she went back into the team, which is Activate, Rebel March Change, and she's bringing things that we can now start having conversations about. Yeah, and that's a good art. A good art is a piece, not that you can only enjoy, but you can also have conversations about and reflect upon where are we at in our society, in our place. And what is interesting about art is that it's actually very private. Yes, because a piece of art you will find in somebody's home, that means only 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people have seen it in their life. But during art fair, you can see everybody's art. And you can see different things that maybe you will never see in your life because you don't have that spending capacity. But you're an art fanatic, or you just like beautiful things, and you can have such a beautiful conversation, not even having to buy it, but you can it can make you think. And I've seen a huge difference since 2016 till now. Everybody is into art for different reasons, and everybody's creating. There's tons of arts movements going on. There's more galleries opening. Some of them are focused in craft, some of them are focused in naive art, some of them are focused in whatever, but they're moving, you know. And also I noticed that there's more festivals starting, and for me that's a blessing. Yes, because I don't have to do everything myself anymore, because there are other people that are also starting other movements, and we consider ourselves just to be the catalyst, and we are super happy when other people also start creating and more events and things like that, because it gives different crowds more opportunity to get in touch with art.
I think that's a very interesting perspective, Tito, that, you know, as a non-artist as well, I think I have through time learned the power of art. And I am a very rational person, as I mentioned, and, you know, the people that listen know my background comes from a very rational place. You know, we focus a lot on numbers and on statistics and on data. And art becomes this very abstract thing, even if it has a clear image, right? That is not as tangible, but that sparks conversation. And I think that the first time that I really felt that, you know, in a sense of it being super powerful, was when we went to the United Nations this year to advocate for inclusion, and we had an artist come with us, and, you know, it was, and she had some
she
paintings.
registered to art fair.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And, you know, but it was really nice because it sparked a conversation, which for her was so much easier to have. You know, you can come and talk to me about numbers and legislation, and I'll talk about those things, right? But for her, the things that she was expressing through, you know, those pictures and through those paintings that she made, is very interesting to see that. And I think for the first time I really realized that if we do not, like you said, have those opportunities, we are missing out on so many things that people care about, and so many things that people are feeling and that they want to get out. And might not otherwise have an outlet for it. So I am also very appreciative to see that these spaces are being built and are being created. And like you said, Tito, there's more of it. Elisa, it's very nice for you, to tell us that you can almost see that spark happening on the island, and that you can see where we're at now, and that it can happen in very big ways, but also in very like smaller and maybe less formal ways, as long as we are having those conversations, right? And having those spaces where people can display whatever they're feeling and thinking. So tell me a little bit about Art Week and what the goal is in general, what the goal is this year. What are you trying to go for? What is the hope and aim with this art fair? Yeah, tell me about it. I want to know all about it.
So this year we since 2022, I got tired of people calling the fashion show art fair and the mural art fair and everything is art fair. So we decided to come up with Art Week. Yes, to create a new umbrella to make it more complicated. Yes, because I love complicated. So this year we're coming with Arts Table, which will be on the 2nd of September. It's, you can, in Orijenstad, they have the long table. Well, we're doing kind of the same, but in a whole different context. We're doing an art table.
Okay.
Yes, that means that 100 to 200 people will be doing a workshop at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's to spark community, spark interest, and also to have some fun in the streets in St. Nicholas. Yes. So thanks to Roma Trading and O'Neill Restaurant, we can make this happen because they will be helping us out. Yes. On Tuesday, we're gonna have an informal art talk. Yes, talking about different things in the community, talking about why we have these galleries, what are the interests for you after the art fair, that we're trying to go abroad, what makes an international artist, muralist so important, how do you become an international muralist, how do you start participating in other art fairs and things like that. Those are the conversations that we need to have. Talking about art is not necessarily the main topic, it's called an art talk, but we're going to be talking about how to use art to get out of here.
Okay.
Yes, because it's also very important to export people, not only import people. Yes, on Wednesday we have the fabulous art fashion with a cause. Yes, it's a very different type of fashion show. Yes, because it's open to anything. Yes, it's a thematic fashion show. This year, Art Week will be Activate, Rebel March Change. But the fashion show is the one time a year that a designer can become an artist and an artist can become a designer. It's the one time a year that the professional models can meet non-professional models. So anybody can come to the table. Yeah, we have different shape and sizes in our community. So I always stand very clear that I want all shapes and sizes in our fashion show. Yes, otherwise there should be no art fashion. Yes, it's more focused towards art. And the fun thing is Elisa is joining this year the art fashion and art fair. Both of them are activates.
A lot of work.
And it's going.
Oh my gosh.
They're all actually connected.
Okay.
And that's so interesting how she made wearable fashion combined with her paintings. That is like
It's wearable art, right?
it's super awesome.
It's actually the first time that my art now is really connected to the fashion I make. Yeah.
And that's very important because, like I said, we are pushing artists to grow. Yes, and we just by giving them new opportunities, they outgrow themselves. You don't always have to literally push them. Sometimes you have to push them in just by giving them a topic and say, go figure it out. Yes, and then they start going crazy.
It's nice because in art school they also give you a topic and then everybody goes crazy on that topic, and you want to be the best in your class and you really work hard. So I love work with topics.
Yes, so that's something we're gonna keep continuing. And on Thursday we're gonna have an informal fundraising event. It's called fundraising with a what name is it in English? Brackets with D, because we're having more fun than we're raising money.
Got it.
I think sometimes it even costs more money to organize that thing than we actually raise funds. But it's that you can see VIP nights that a selected few will start talking about the art fair, and also will get to see the first will be the first ones to see the galleries that will be open the next day. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the fun weekend. Yes, where over 100 local and some international artists will be displaying their arts and crafts. So this is to go back to the gallery and to go back to everything. This is how we select the people. But
Okay.
also you have indoor artists. Those are the ones they're going with Activate, March, Rebel, Change. They are very high profile artists and they have a whole study done and all those things. We're going to have 4 galleries this year. Also 5 international, local, so international because they live in the Netherlands. Local contemporary artists are coming down.
Okay.
So we're bringing contemporary back to
Some
the scene.
names to us.
Yes.
Richardson is one. I'm not really good with name, but this Richardson guy is amazing. He will be in the fashion show. Yes, he will be in the art fair. And guys, he's gonna leave an art installation behind.
Okay.
This is so interesting because it's gonna be the first time that a contemporary artist leaves an installation in St. Nicholas. Because you know I'm all about murals. Yes, murals. But now he's gonna create. When I saw this, I fell in love. I'm like, dude, you need to leave that behind for Aruba. So it's gonna be an interactive piece where all the ladies in Aruba can go take a picture with.
Only
So
the
you-
ladies?
Gentlemen too if they want.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
Is that
It's
the
interesting.
artist-
I'm intrigued.
Is that the artist with the beach cleaning?
No, the beach cleaning. We're having a beach cleaning tomorrow.
Oh,
Yes. I'm
okay.
not from the beach cleaning department, but Maya Lepsanovic, yes, which has Ola, is part of the Ola Gallery in Palm Beach, Paseo Rencia, yes, approached me that she wants to create another art installation, yes, but it's made of trash.
Okay.
So I said, okay, boom, let's do a
Love
beach
it.
cleanup then. Yes, so tomorrow we're gonna have an awesome beach cleanup at Boca Grande at 8:30 in the morning, and we're gonna clean up the beach with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, a lot
Nice.
of people clean up the beach and then they throw out the trash and ciao. No, we're gonna clean up the beach and we're gonna use the trash to also create another art installation. Thank you for reminding me that. So this
Interesting.
year we're having 2 art installation, one coming from the Netherlands, yes, and being installed here, and one coming from Boca Grande, and it's going to be installed in St. Nicholas as well. And that's how we, as an organization, is starting to also understand that we also have this obligation to help our local artists to reach where they have to reach, because maybe Maya is good at creating this art installation, but she's not good at getting 50 people to go clean the beach.
Got
And
it.
I don't even know how that works, but you know, you tell me you need materials, let's go out, let's gather some people, let's go get some materials and let's make this happen. Yes, and that's the extras that we do so we can make our artists happy. So going back to art fair, yes, it's gonna be super awesome because we have indoor galleries, we have outdoor galleries, and those are super fun. Yes, because you have people painting outside, and it's this whole creation organically happening. And we have tons of musicians coming, we have performing artists coming, we have some pop-up restaurants coming, and also pop-up trucks. So there's a lot of food, dance, entertainment. It's not only about the art, it's centered around the art, but I know that not everybody likes art. They like other types of art, like music, entertainment, and all those things. So that's why since 2016, it's actually a whole festival. You can come for food, you can come for music, you can come for art, you can come from different things. Yeah, so we have for the whole Art Week, you can go to artweekaruba.com. Yes, and then you can find tickets for the art table, tickets for the art fashion, and tickets for the Aruba Art Fair. For the locals who think pay.away, you see we're not in pay.away, download it right now. Yes, you get 50% off.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's gonna go till 10 more days. Yes. So
Good to know. Interesting.
that's because
Everybody has to run for tickets.
we want it to be accessible for everybody. We want the fashion show to be accessible for everybody, and we want the art fair also to be accessible
Got
for
it.
everybody. So we try to also, since this year, have some special prices. The best way to do it is paid out away, because you don't have any headaches.
What are the prices?
Yes, I
so-
want to know.
Shouldn't.
For the art fashion, it's 50 florins per person,
Okay.
and on paid out away, and it's $50 normally. So
Okay.
that's also from dollars to floating.
Okay.
Yes, the art fair is $10. $15 per day and $20 per weekend.
Okay.
And paid out the way right now is only at 1750 florins.
Okay.
So $10
For the whole weekend.
For the whole. What else do you want?
Wow, that's
Yeah,
nice.
and
That's super
everybody
cool.
needs to come for the whole weekend.
Yes, because
And
it's
one
one
day
day
you
is
cannot
not
see
enough.
it, one night, no.
It's too much. We have more than 100 artists.
Wow.
We have different performances every day. Yes, so it's like babing awin bato sa kita canta, mayang ti otro ta canta, otro mayang ti otro costa canta. Dus it is schedule, try schedule. It's open for everybody. So if you are a performance artist, if you want to participate with us, just go on arubaartfair.com and go to performance artist and just register. You know, tell us what you need, tell us what you do, and we're gonna see how we can get you involved, because the art fair is very important for you. Yes, because that's the one time a year that thousands of people can see you perform. Yes, and we have seen a lot of performance artists grow out of the art fair. They got scouted and they get jobs. They get a lot of stuff. Also, the artists, the participating artists, not always they sell at the art fair. Majority does, but not always. But what happens is they get commissions, or they say, but I'm at the ArtisA. Oh, wow, cool. I didn't know this. You paint good. Can you make this for me? Can you draw my mother? Can you draw my dog? Can you do this? Can you do that? I need a very big piece. So that's where community gets to know who you are. Be it singing, be it painting, be it dancing, being spoken words. It doesn't matter. We have a platform for you. It is built by us, non-artists, built for you, artists. Yes, because for us it is very important that the community can see the reflection of the art society.
Yeah, I mean, Tito, I think you're so right. This whole idea of getting everybody involved. I think what's really important to know is it's an opportunity for everyone on the island to do their have an interest, and that is local businesses who want to come into the sponsorship level, or people who just set aside time for art, and having businesses know that maybe their employees want to be involved in art. It's a one time a year where you can really just like have a life-changing experience, you know, and society benefits from that because we all become much more engaged in, like Tito said, conversations that are deep, like in Elisa's heart. So I think it's really a time to sort of like all hands on deck for
Yes.
Aruba, you know, and so that we all begin to see the value of that art has in our lives.
So I have a question about this year's theme. What sparked it, or where does it come from? And Tito, from your perspective as the organizer, but I also want to hear from the artist perspective, how they felt about the theme. It's very interesting. It's almost like a call to action type of theme, right? Might be a little bit confrontational almost. So I want to know a little bit about where that comes from and why you think that was a fitting theme for this year.
Okay, so thematics exist since the beginning of time, but we don't use it for the art fair. We use it for the fashion show.
Okay.
Yes, because the fashion show almost died out because I found it boring. So then I started Fashion with a Cause, and we started with Speak Up and Breaking the Silence and tons of dramatic stuff. Yes, and the work...
Dramatic but important.
Yes, and what happened is these designers and artists started creating such a massively awesome stuff that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. We went to recess, COVID came along. Yes, and 2022 I started with Unchained because there was this talk about abolition, 160 years of abolition of slavery, pero not at esclavitud na Aruba, pero si ting, yari, 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 yari. But our other islands got it really bad. In Aruba, we didn't have it that bad as Curacao, for instance. So I decided to call it Unchained. And then one thing to the other led to the last minute. We decided, you know what? Never mind. ArtWeek will be Unchained.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the birth of a thematic week.
Okay.
Yeah, so last year we started with Unchained, but you need to understand, going back to slavery, but not also slavery, we are right now also trying to unchain ourselves from many modern stuff that gets us changed, also the phone, for instance. Yes, so it wasn't only dedicated to the 160 years, it was just unchained. But going back to that slavery process, when they got freed, yes, is the time they had to start rebel marching for change. Yes, because they were freed, but they were not actually free. Yes, that's the time that the movement came, when they started rebelling and they started marching for equal rights. Yes, and taking that into to consideration and linking it back to the previous year,
Got it.
I came with Activate. Because Rubiano naam hoop nie rustig, passivo, we're very nice and kind. We don't talk. Yeah, very few of us really say what's on our mind. And when we say what's on our mind, people don't like it. Yes, because we're very reserva. Yeah, so that's why I said, okay, boom, let's create Activate. Let's rebel, let's march and change, because we say we are one happy island. We are a one happy island, and I stand by that, because we have a very good on Aruba. But there's a lot of things happening that we never talk about. And during the fashion show, we always talk about them. Yeah, even about child abuse during the breaking the silence. Then came this whole march on the streets and things like that. And going back to that year, I decided, you know what, let's activate. Let's march, let's rebel, and let's make a change.
So you want to hopefully encourage the artists to spark conversation on topics that might be a little bit too confrontational for everyday conversation, if I am hearing you. Do you hope that on a systematic level these conversations could also bring change? Because, you know, coming from a policy perspective, I love seeing movements, but it really requires effort and systematic effort for things to change and for things to you know, really have an impact. So, you know, I'm looking at the artists, and how do you see and feel about this as well? Like, what is your role as artists in pushing these conversations and allowing for these spaces to maintain certain conversations, right? For not just in that moment, but further on to push that forward. How is that for you as an artist?
Well, I'm sure we have very different perspectives on this, but I really appreciate Elisa's, and my voice is so different from many people. What is this rollerblade painting? But I come from a background of really having engaged my body, like been in sport, like competing, like at high levels, and like that did sort of a psychological and physical toll on me. And I think what's interesting about my work is it's completely an activation of my soul. And I say to myself, you know, I paint very differently, and I want to encourage in others this idea that they can have confidence in painting the way they paint. And so I teach some abstract classes down in ArtisA, and I'm always like very intrigued by people's lack of confidence in the arts. And I think when you look at my work, you say, how does this become art? How can this be art? But what I think is very important in a society that is always saying you have to do things this way, like a very ableist society that says, okay, we only accept one way. And that's just, we're coming to learn that that's unfair. It has justice in it to say, you know what, no, we do have people who express things differently. And so when you mentioned systems, the whole idea of being an artist, and it's certainly in my format of creating, is a breaking down of that system to offer new perspectives. And in my case, it's gestural, it's free, it's activating, it's active expressionism. So I see the context of my work very much so in a way to inspire others to create their own styles and activate and engage audiences with conversations about what is their own way of expression, personal expression.
I really enjoyed that explanation, and you know, you answered my question as to how did you get into rollerblades art. So I'm gonna assume that you used to do rollerblading on an athletic level. Being married to a former, pro athlete as well, I think that I can hear the things that you're saying. That after that happens, you kind of have to refine yourself, and that looks very different for different people. And I love to hear how art did that for you, and that you kind of still maintained, I guess, the skills that you gained through that time to create something new and have conversations about maybe the not so fun parts of it as well.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that perspective. Elisa, tell me a little bit about this theme.
For me, it's a little bit different. If I make art, I want to learn something.
Okay.
I want to go deep, do research, and I want
Interesting.
to inspire people. So this time with activation, I had a different approach. It's actually how to activate yourself to be a better self. So my collection of artworks is called To Know, To Understand, and To Be. So I have 12 steps to improve yourself, to be better. And in this way, I hope to inspire people to have a better life, to be more happy, to activate themselves, to do more crazy stuff, to have more energy. And yeah, I'm very, I go deep into the research. I love it.
Oh, that's so nice. So, I mean, at the end of this episode, you will hear it. But something that I say in all of my episodes of Sincerely Carolina is that hopefully you learn something new and you make better choices. So I love how that theme comes kind of into it. And I agree, right? The more knowledge you have of something, hopefully will lead you to make better choices and to do things differently.
Yeah.
And even if it reinforces something that you already thought or knew, you still get to understand better why that one thing was important or why that change was necessary. So I'm very excited for this whole event, and I will definitely be visiting. I don't know if I can do the whole weekend, but I will definitely be visiting because I am interested to see how this theme kind of becomes art and how it is expressed and the conversations that kind of go with it, right? So I do look at the time, and I want to ask the artist a question that I got from there, which I thought was really nice, which is, which movements have influenced your artwork the most? Because I think that's a very interesting question.
For me, it's very clear. It's pop art.
Okay.
So when I was 16, before I knew that I was going to art school, because art was always a hobby, and you cannot be. In my family, my father, for example, was an artist, and his parents always teach him, you cannot go to art school. It's impossible to provide your family, and So for me, it was always a hobby.
Okay.
So when I visited the first pop art exhibition, I was 16 years old, and I knew, okay, I want to be an artist. This is so amazing. Andy Warhol, Rauschenberg, Rothko, with his big blue paintings. I was sitting in that museum, and I said, this is what I want to be. Yeah, so pop art is my answer.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. Where was that exhibition that you went to?
It was in Germany.
Nice.
I think it was in Düsseldorf.
Okay. So I studied abstract art, actually having been a representative painter. So representation was my former training, painting portraits and landscapes in the landscape of Vermont, where I'm from. And I was involved with a lot of artists there. We were all, sort of stylistically similar. And I thought to myself, how can I be different? And so I went back to grad school and I studied abstract expressionism. I really threw myself into it wholeheartedly and was confronted by professors and said things like, how are you going to make yourself different in the world? How are you going to contribute to something different in the world? And I said to myself, well, I like Jackson Pollock, Joan Mitchell, Rebecca Purdom, these people, some of them I knew or had heard of or had studied together and were friends of mine. And I just began to see alternative ways in which people could express themselves, like Rebecca Purdom paints with her hands. And I thought, how can someone paint with their hands and call it art? And through conversations, experimentation, and also just letting loose and letting go and feeling a sense of freedom because of those artists was a real inspiration for me.
Thank you so much for those answers. Is there anything else before we close off that any of you want to leave us with? Maybe something we didn't mention or something that you just really want to share with everybody?
Well, guys, starting on the 27th of August, you can start coming to St. Nicholas because the guys will start painting murals. We have a whole long selection of local and international artists. We have some ladies in the house. Yes, one of the best female muralists, Rosie, all the way from Australia will be coming to Aruba. So ladies, remember to come and do watch, help. Anybody that is a muralist or wants to become a muralist, the best way to become a muralist is to volunteer. Yes, come and have fun. Come look at them paint. Ask questions. There is no silly questions, only silly answers. Yes, and I will be seeing you sowieso the 2nd to the 8th of September. If you want to buy tickets, ArtWeek.Aruba.com. You will find all the selections, or if you want it in happy hour prices, pay that away. Yes, if you are an artist or performance artist, or you want to volunteer for the art fair, you go to ArubaArtFair.com. If you want to volunteer for the fashion, ArtFashionAruba.com. Yes, but buying tickets, everything is on Art Week Aruba, so we can keep everything under un capa. Yes, if you have any questions, you can go to all the websites. You have that green button, that's the WhatsApp button, and you get me on the line. Never call me, but always WhatsApp me because my phone is always on silence. If you need my number, it's 593-4475. I'm always available. Any questions you need, any suggestions, we're open. If you are a vendor and you want to sell food by us, you're also welcome. Everybody is welcome. Pansigi Trabajaduro riba San Nicolas, and I need you guys to help us to keep bettering San Nicolas and also art.
Yes. Jean, Elisa, do you have anything else that you want to leave us with?
I just have a brief thing. One of the initiatives that I've been working with Tito on is to find more ways to open up that critical path of people learning about Aruba. And I know vacationers is one, but actually emerging artists. I have to say, it would be so nice to see more emerging artists in the world learn about the art fair that is a social art fair. It is so
we're very different art fair.
Relationship oriented. It's experience that is very important, and it's an opportunity to grow your career. And one of the things I'm trying to do is offer a summer retreat through Aruba, which is called Aruba Artist Retreat. What the retreat does is it basically introduces you to the Caribbean diaspora and this idea of Aruba fitting within that diaspora, and that it's a very important one in art history. And so learning about how to become an artist and seeing the perspective of Aruba is another way I'm trying to grow this idea of us all finding out more about the contemporary art scene here.
Nice. I like that very much. So if there are artists out there who are interested in this project, can they just reach out to you and ask questions about that?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm happy to hear. Thank you so much. Lisa, is there anything else you want to leave us with before we close up this episode?
No, not actually. I think Tito explained everything very well. Jean also. I just want everybody to come to Art Fair for the whole weekend. And don't forget the fashion show.
Yes, the fashion show is going to be epic.
So
We have 8 designers. Fashion show, right?
From Medellin, we have Flo. Flo is one of the most important designers in Colombia right now. J Balvin, everybody he dresses. Yes,
and he's also a very nice person.
Crazy, you met him
I
yourself.
Met him,
yeah. We're having from Judy Duzon from St. Martin, right? Richardson from the Netherlands. We're having tons of different types of designers. Also Elisa, of course. Yes, and we have from St. Nicholas as well joining us. So it's very interesting for you guys to understand that all these events are separate, but they're all very interesting to watch. And remember, this theme is Activate, Rebel, March, Change. So I'm very curious to see how the fashionistas, yes, are gonna bring this forward on Wednesday, the 4th of September.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
See you there.
Activate.
Thank you so much for having a conversation with me. I appreciate you. I also want to say, for anybody who tuned in a little bit later, do not worry. You can find this episode back on Facebook and YouTube of Cool FM and Sincerely Carolina. And of course, on Tuesday, you will be able to listen on Spotify, podcast, or whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. If you have questions, let me know. I will forward them to our guests, or you can reach out to them directly. Thank you to my awesome sponsors for allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I appreciate you, Toto, La Roche-Posay, and Gain. And of course to Cool FM and ArtisA for powering this episode. Let me know what you want to talk about in the coming weeks. We will be talking about going back to school next week because, that's happening. But I will be talking to somebody from the University of Aruba. I do not think we give enough attention to the perspective of higher education, which is a huge transition. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. So if you have specific questions, do let me know. And yes, I hope that we learned something new and that you get to make better choices. I will see you again next week. And if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, it's at sincerely.carlina. And if you want to see the more, educative stuff, you can go on over at Zenith Talks. All right, take care. See you again. Bye. Hi, I'm Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local and international experts. Make sure you tune in every Saturday on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye!